Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Scooby Doo meets Courage the Cowardly Dog. Now, when it comes to crossover events, Scooby Doo certainly has quite a few of them. They've crossed over with WWE, they've crossed over with Kiss, they've even crossed over with Supernatural of all things. But when it comes down to it, this seems like a crossover that feels rather natural by Scooby Doo standards. I loved Scooby Doo growing up. I loved Courage the Cowardly Dog growing up. And combining the two certainly does make for a lot of character interactions that honestly go about as well as expected, but it also leads to a few weird moments that seem little out of place and kind of crazy even by Courage the Cowardly Dog standards. But let's get to the story, shall we? The story takes place after the Mystery Gang happens to solve another one of their mysteries, when Scooby-Doo discovers this strange signal and strange sound that leads him to Nowhere, the place where Courage the Cowardly Dog is set, where he meets Eustace, Muriel, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. As Courage and Scooby happen to find strange things going on in Nowhere, so just a regular day in Nowhere, I guess, they happen to find out that there's a mayor of this city that they've never heard of before, and they have to find out what's going on with these strange goings on of this place, while the rest of the Scooby Gang happens to find out exactly how strange Nowhere is, and what fans of Courage the Cowardly Dog would have how they'd expect them to find all these strange things to be. But that's all I'll say about the story. The story here not only happens to do an effective job combining what works from the Scooby-Doo series and the Courage series, but it also happens to provide quite a bit of fan service for fans of both. Not only with the Mystery Gang having mostly reprised their roles, Matthew Lillard, Gray Griffin, and Fred Welker all reprise their roles expertly, but also because there are several callbacks to several episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog. Even Katz and McQuack happen to make an appearance in the film. Even though a lot of the film's villains are mainly just this group of giant cicadas, which does seem kind of, run of the mill as far as Courage the Cowardly Dog goes, especially if you consider some of the more creative villain designs that they've had. I do appreciate that they happen to tie all of these strange things together in a way that fits in both shows' universes, as out of nowhere as they can be sometimes. What is out of nowhere and what doesn't hold up, in my opinion, is certain sequences that feel like that feel like they've never worked in either series, such as adding a rap song for Eustace. Did anyone seriously want to see that? I appreciate some gags like him diving into a pile of money like Scrooge McDuck, but did anyone really ask for the rap number? Granted, it does have a fairly funny setup for the dance party finale, but it's still a weird way to go about it, especially since, yes, it sort of fits with Eustace's character. He's a grumpy old man, and he does have a greedy tendency, but I don't think he'd ever go for that, is what I'm trying to say. But thankfully, the rest of the Courage characters are basically spot on throughout, and I do appreciate that Courage and Scooby do have this great banter with each other. They're both dogs who have to deal with scary things on a daily basis, so of course they work together well, and their voice actors do play off each other pretty well. Which is good, because in a crossover episode you want to see how the main characters of each show would handle being with each other, and we get a lot of that here. Especially since Muriel also tends to be with the rest of the Scooby Gang through the majority of the film as well. Plus, despite the film only being about 75 minutes long, it feels paced well enough to the point where it gets through the Scooby movie tropes as well as the tropes of Courage the Cowardly Dog in an efficient fashion. There are some jokes that don't work and some sequences that do feel out of place, but for the most part I think it's a crossover that should please the fans of both series. That's why I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. See you next time.